So
We're back.
I'm sorry, I'm always stepping on you there. Okay, so our fourth movie, our last movie is George.
Yes, my movie is The Raid Redemption.
Selamat pagi. Mungkin Anda sudah mendengar kalau kita kedatangan tamu tak diundang. Selamat bekerja. Dan jangan lupa bersenang-senang.
Originally called The Raid. It's Indonesian, so excuse my Indonesian's not that good, so the names might be a little rough. It's written, directed, and edited by Gareth Evans. That Indonesian name, Gareth Evans. And it stars Iko Uwais as Rama, a rookie cop, Yayan Ruthan as Mad Dog, a crime lord's lieutenant, Danny Alam Shaya as Andy, the crime lord's other lieutenant, Joe Taslim as Jaka, a good cop, Pierre Gruno Wayeyu, a gray-haired lieutenant who's a cop, and Ray Sahetapi, the crime lord Tama Riyadi. So I became aware of this movie because I watched Wu Assassins. I don't know if you heard that series on Netflix.
Yeah.
And I watched the whole series, and it's, Iko Uwais, I kick your ass. Oh, this guy's good. And then I found out that he's known for The Raid. So it's like, I got to watch me The Raid now. So the movie is basically, the plot is an elite squad is tasked to infiltrate a high-rise building run by a ruthless drug lord. So, and it's located in the slums of Jakarta. And among them is Rama, who's Uwais, who's a rookie member of the team. Now, the director, he came across the idea for the movie when he moved to Indonesia. He was going to do a documentary on Pencat Silat, which is the Indonesian martial arts. So
yeah.
And then that's where he met Iko Uwais, the main character for The Raid. He's a Pencat Silat practitioner. He's a master of that, that martial art. And he was working as a delivery man for a phone company in Jakarta. That's it. So he cast him in a movie. Before The Raid, he cast him in a different movie called Merantau. And which is kind of a martial arts movie, but people didn't like it as much because it was kind of slow. Like it takes 45 minutes before you see some action. So like, that's what I want to. You can catch this martial arts killer, and then you get, what's up with this dialogue thing going on? Anyways, he was on this talking going on. So then he did The Raid. So actually, originally, The Raid was supposed to be a large-scale prison gangster movie. So it was gonna be called. It was gonna be called Berandal, which means thugs, and but it was so complex and time consuming, more complex and time consuming than anticipated. So they ran after a year and a half, they ran out of funds. They did not have enough funds for it, and so they changed the story to a more simpler story, and had a smaller budget and called it Serbian Maut, which means The Raid. And The Raid was born. So anyway, so the movie is one of those that it's kind of reminds me of like John Wick or those kind of movies, right off the bat, the action is like right off the bat, we're breaking bones and cutting heads. So like, is the action? It's very violent, very violent. The amazing choreography by the choreography was done by Iko Uwais, the main actor, and Yayan Ruthian, who's plays the Megdog character, that little guy that nobody can kick his ass.
Oh.
In fact, that guy is like he's a teacher. He's an actual teaches that martial art. If anybody in the whole film could kick ass, it's that guy, that little guy. So he really is a mad dog. I mean, so the movie received positive reviews at the Toronto Film Festival when it came out, and okay, so I like the movie. I enjoy those kind of movies. I love the choreography, but I've seen so many martial arts movies that I kind of get a gauge of when the action should stop. So and I'm kind of, I almost have like an internal clock, and okay, Donnie Yen kicked his ass. That's about this time period. This movie, this guy's gonna fight for like 20 minutes straight. I go, and I'm taking pipes going machetes, and then the guy gets up again. So what is this, a Terminator? So I enjoy the action, but it started to make it unbelievable because nobody can get up from some of the ass kicking that you see. So and the guy should be dead, and he gets up and okay, I'm coming back. It kind of reminded me of a video game. Because I played, I play fighting games. I love Street Fighter. Hey, Street Fighter fans. No. Gamers out there. I love Street Fighter. And it reminds me when I play Street Fighter, where you beat the crap out of the guy. And, okay, next round, his same guy comes back after you. He just doesn't stop. And I go, come on. That guy should be dead by now. And now he's got a pipe to the head. Oh, now you piss me off.
You will die.
The movie has but you know what? Yeah. But the movie has a 86 rating, 86% by professional critics on Rotten Tomatoes, and 87% by audience members.
Wow, interesting.
I mean, when it came out, it was huge. It was big. That's why it kind of made Iko Uwais, and that's why we see him now on Wu Assassins. So, yeah, it's. I enjoyed it. For me, and I like the whole concept too. That the elite team going to this building and they close him in there, and now all the killers go to town with them, and you gotta survive. This is just like a video game. If they would have kind of toned down the how long the fights took to a more realistic time length, then I would have really enjoyed it more. Because after a while, I just started to, look at the move, look at the kick, and I was like, okay, when is this fight gonna end? So it started to lose my interest because it's just that was pretty much my criticism of the movie. The fight sequences just went too long, for me.
Wow.
So. Anyways, yeah, that's my thing there.
Oh, yeah, I saw this movie at the theaters when it came out, and I was really impressed because, like I said, it got such great press about being a new genre kind of action film.
Yeah.
And it's funny because it begins, and one thing, it's sort of funny, it didn't even matter to me when I first saw the movie, but for some reason, of course, now, I crack up because the character's Muslim. You actually see him praying on the carpet. And I thought, oh, how interesting. I don't even remember that part. And yet now, whenever I see or hear Muslim, it's like, oh, that sort of stands out. And I thought, oh, of course, because he's in Indonesia.
And the director wanted to make the point that people knew that this character was Muslim. That's what he had.
Oh, really? Yeah. Okay. Because I think the actor himself is Muslim.
Well, Indonesia is basically Muslim.
The largest Muslim population in the world, right? Or country that has. So it was interesting that part because he makes a promise to his father, saying, "I'll bring him back." Now, then all of a sudden, you see the police get right in front of that building, and then okay, we got to go in this building, we got to get to this floor, and once that starts, it's nonstop. Nonstop. Even the parts where it quiets down in a way are still suspenseful because there's still something in there going on. In fact, I love there's a little sequence when the police are going in, they're immediately just like handcuffing, gagging, and putting all these people because they don't want the alarm to be raised that they're in the building now. And I think there's maybe about 30 cops? I can't even remember.
I think it's 20 maybe or something, something like that.
It's a minimal amount. Because they're doing a raid, and all they want to do is get the drug lord up there.
And they're rookies. And they're rookies. Most of them are rookies.
Exactly. Which is why, again, with the character saying, I'll bring him back, you think, oh, is he related or something with the drug lord? Or you're thinking, what's going on there? So that's the thing that sort of kept me going, because I said, okay, who's he bringing back? Now, I will say this. I watched it again, and it was an unrated version. I do not remember that being in the original, but I could have just not remembered it properly, right?
I didn't see the unrated version. That wasn't in the rated version.
I'm sorry, what's that?
I think the I'll bring it back part.
Right.
That was not in the unrated version.
No, that's in the unrated version. I mean, that's what I watched.
No, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's
you watched the rated R version?
That was the rated version,
Oh,
and that wasn't in
okay.
that.
Okay,
so I was like this, huh?
Okay, so
I was like Scooby-Doo.
That's
I
why.
wanted to watch the unrated, but I thought, I don't know about them, but there's already enough violence with the rated one.
Well, that's what I figured. It's like, okay, I'll just see more violence, which will be fun.
That's what I thought it was going to be. Yeah.
Because I do remember how violent it was. Because that's the thing. You're right. That once they go in raids, it all comes down to we have to make our way up the floors. And of course, at one point, they realize, okay, something's going on.
Yes.
We're not, because this is the weird thing about the building that you hadn't mentioned, is that the building itself, the drug lord is allowing all these people basically to sort of stay there, and they're all druggies, they're all reprobates. He says, you just protect me. That's all he asks. And at one point he says, you can stay here for free for the rest of your life as long as you kill these cops. Kind of attitude, right?
Yeah.
So you just see people just popping out left and right, and like you said, with the machetes.
Like a video game. Just one keep coming at you. Look, yeah.
So it was really sort of a fascinating, because then it gets suspenseful, because at one point you think, oh, the cops are doing really well, and then they get trapped. That's like, okay, now they realize they have to escape.
Yeah, no, it's reversed.
And then it's like, but then it's still, well, he still has, and again, in my head, well, he still has to save somebody, and yet they actually have to still accomplish their mission, which one of the head guys still wants to do. Even though he's wounded, it's like, no, I still want to do this, I want to do this. So it just sort of escalates, and at one point, one of the tenants who has medicine for his sick wife, they said, no, you can't go in there. It's like, but I live on the 7th floor. So and that's added, and then that adds another factor to what goes on. I mean, that's sort of only the humanizing fact. I mean, this is what I have a problem, for example, with, say, a Quentin Tarantino movie. His violence doesn't seem to have merit any kind of action or consequence. It just is there to
violence for violence.
Seemingly, like I said, for me, I know a lot of people find it funny, so that's what I don't get. Whereas this, you're seeing the violence happen, and it's not, you could tell at first, they don't want to really kill the cops do not want to have to kill anyone, but now it becomes a thing of survival where they have to. It's, kill or be killed at this point. And so it just escalates to where the point it does almost get ridiculous. And like you were saying about Suspect Zero or all these serial killer movies where I have to come up with these more disturbing, weird ways to kill people that makes it more cinematic or whatever, right? Or dramatic and theatrical. Whereas this is just like, no, it's like blood here. And I actually like the fact that they did cut away. They didn't show everything. They really do cut away. Fortunately, because they didn't have a budget. You can't see arms being chopped off and things like that because of that.
Yeah, you don't see that level. Yeah, you don't see that that level of violence where arms cut off, but you do see like constant punching and punching.
Exactly.
Yeah, but the thing is, they're doing constant punching, but nobody has a mark on them.
Well, again, like the John Woo school of fighting, right? Like, how do those guns keep having the bullets? They keep shooting like nonstop, 100 bullets. Why do they have? And so, but that is sort of part of the genre that I've always enjoyed. It's sort of that over the top.
Yeah.
And this was definitely over the top.
Yeah,
this
like I
was
say,
over the top, and that's what I said. And it kept going and going, and I liked that. And yet, it still kept my suspense up because I wanted to know what was going to happen at the end because other things in the plot sort of
there was a plot there. There was a twist in the plot too. So
I have to admit that kept my interest. It's like, so I was suspenseful at thinking, okay, what's going to happen? Or I really wondered what was going to happen in the end. Who was going to survive? And so that aspect kept me going to the end. But I remember really finding it entertaining when I first saw it. But on a visceral level, it's like, boy, once those fights start, boom, boom. Yeah,
that's it.
It's like you want to see a lot of people get beat up and killed and macheted and whatever and shot. I mean, literally close-up shots they were doing.
And the movie is also it's a showcase for that particular. Like a lot of movies, become a showcase for that country's martial art. Like this is Indonesian martial arts.
Right.
Like there was one called, I think it was called Jar or something. It's about Thai martial arts, and this guy does all his stunts. So every like a new country comes up and there's a new hero, and he's showcasing their unique martial arts. So you're gonna see a lot of that. So they're gonna do very unique choreography and stuff like.
And it's funny because to me, when I watch these movies, because I love martial arts movies, that I really can't tell the difference in style, but the choreography really is amazing to me. I mean,
The choreography.
It's dancing. It's like ballet.
No, I agree. Yeah. That's exactly what it is. So that's something, that athleticism and that choreography I really do admire when I see that stuff. Which is why, like you said, when they're going on for that long, it really is amazing the stamina that they have. Even though they're cutting, you're thinking they have to do this several times of going through that whole.
I mean, I was out of breath and I was just sitting there with my beer.
Yeah. So
as I agree with both of you in the sense that I literally, as I was watching it, I was thinking like, okay, I have to stay and continue watching this, but it's just people getting the shit beat out of them from the beginning to the end, which I shouldn't be okay with. And as a person who has done martial arts it's like none of these things would happen. It's kind of a fantasy martial arts. If you're in that kind of a fight, it's not going to last more than a couple of seconds because you're going to be out.
Real martial arts, in 10 seconds,
what I mean?
it's done.
That's going to be it, right? So it's kind of indulgent in like something that's kind of weird. So I was kind of like, but I was fascinated at the same time, and the choreography was amazing. It was amazing. It was like who was the choreographer?
It was the Iko Uwais, the main character, the young rookie cop, and Mad Dog, the Mad Dog guy, the young who says, killing people is just too boring. It's too a gun. What is a gun? He puts the gun down. Takes it. I want to enjoy this. So he was, and to me, he was the best martial artist in the whole film.
So he was the most interesting character in the whole film. Also, he was the colorful one. Yeah.
I was very conflicted while I was watching it. I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. How are they, what are they doing? On the other hand, this is awful. It's like they're just beating the crap out of people the whole movie.
I am shocked and I'm odd.
Yeah, exactly. It was like, but it's like it has a classic. What's the Bruce Willis
Game of Death? Oh no,
because they got
Die Hard.
Die Hard. Yes.
The same thing.
Yeah, very much so.
And which is kind of the Odysseus thing, or it's a classic story. I'm here, and I need to get to here.
Right. Game of Death.
And I go up each floor. And that's interesting. That's a classic story.
Well, and it's that weird cat and mouse that at one point the cops are going in trying to get these people, then all of a sudden they're hiding from all these people, right? Yes. And then it turns into another same reverse comes out.
Well, like I say, after a while, who are the bad guys and who are the good guys? It just really becomes irrelevant. But I have to tell you, I loved the guy. I guess it is Rama.
The character Rama.
I loved him. Yeah. I was like in all this madness, somehow he kept a very human face to all of this.
Very much.
You know what I mean? It was like he's
a genuine
kept us
hero.
From deteriorating into just animals. And I thought he was great. And whoever the choreographer was,
him,
and whoever the director was, and the cinematographer, because that fight scenes took a great deal of shots. Right. You know what I mean?
They do a lot of interesting thing in the filming too with the camera work, where like there's a scene where the guy flips the guy and the camera follows him. The camera flips too.
Exactly.
So it was kind of in a way almost groundbreaking too, with a very unique.
Yes.
No.
Well, like you said, I think you just mentioned that how the director wanted to showcase the martial arts, so he really wanted to give it justice of showing that, because, like I said, to me, martial arts are generally the same. So it really comes down to choreography and how you shoot them. So
I'm very conflicted about this movie. I was like this the whole time, like, should I stay? Should I go? But on the same, I stayed because it's almost like it's so violent. It's awful. It's so amazing that okay, I'll start it off. I'm gonna start off. I'll give it an 8. Yeah.
You give it an 8?
I give it an 8.
I give it a 7.
Okay. I like Iko Uwais. I like the Wu Assassins, so I have to give it an 8.
Okay. I'm right.
Wu Assassins.
Okay, this ends this episode of What the Flicks. We're kind of deteriorating here. Yeah. You can hear the podcast of this episode and all our episodes on Spotify, Apple, iTunes, SoundCloud, and Amazon Music and Spreaker. Look for What the Flicks. You can see the episode and all our episodes on YouTube. Look for What the Flicks. And finally, you can send us email at whattheflickspodcast@gmail.com. So for now, adios.
Bye-bye.